What's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about nostalgia because I was chilling with my brother and we ended up making jokes about how we would prefer to have to turn in our history homework rather than worry about rent and stuff. And then obviously we started joking about how much fun we were having when we were in school. And it got me thinking, like, the way we look back on things is always with rose tinted glasses. Like, think about it. When we were all back in school, we hated it. You didn't want to do your homework. You thought that teachers were picking on you. Blah blah blah. Like, it was not saying it's a blanket term for everyone, but we all know that when looking back at our school years, there's definitely ups and downs. And it's just ironic how now we're mid to late 20s, we're looking back at that experience that we used to kick and scream about. Now we're looking back at it as if it was the best thing and we're making jokes about wanting to come back. And it started making me think about Call of Duty and just everything, even life. And I feel that with small doses, of course, nostalgia is good. Like, having that love for what you've done in the past or experiences you've had, of course, is good. But I do also think that it almost disrespects the present. I think it's quite easy to look back and say, oh, things were so much better, when in actuality, the things in the past had their problems. And I just wanted to kind of talk about how I actually think if you get sucked into nostalgia and you continue to feed it and not let it go, that it can have a serious impact on your life, really, whether it be financial, relationships, whatever. I think there is an element of having love for the past, which I think is good, but I think holding on to it and not letting go is where it can start to become a bit of a problem. One of the biggest reasons I think we miss the past is because we didn't have to carry so much. Like, there was no rent, no bills, no constant pressure to prove yourself or anything like that. Think about it. I mean, we were like 9 years old, 11, 12, 13. Our biggest problem was, is the girl that we have a crush on, does she like us back? Or have you done your homework that you just lied to your teacher to say that you've done? All of these little things, like, these were easier problems to deal with than the problems that we probably have now. I mean, us obviously being in our mid to late 20s, now rent means something. Back in the day, when you had to pick between getting sleep before school as opposed to, like, right now, getting sleep before work, the consequences now are much bigger. If you didn't get enough sleep for school, okay, you sleep for a few classes, maybe your mum gets called or you get in some sort of trouble, but that's light work. You can just brush it off. Now that can have an impact. I mean, depending on your job. I mean, I work with children. If I'm not on my A game, I'm dealing with, life or death. This is not It's not a joke. That extra hour of sleep means something. And of course, that's going to make the past then feel a bit more safer, and it's going to make it feel like that was a better time. But realistically, it's just about growing up. We can't deny the fact that lack of responsibility is a significant factor in our love for the past. Um, Another reason why I think this is the case is actually when we look at Warzone. I think the time that Warzone actually came out in 2020, everyone loved it. It was the best thing. Everyone was playing it. I knew girls that didn't even game. They knew about Warzone. They were trying out Warzone. It was the best time because at that time we were much younger and there was less responsibility. Think about it. This was during the COVID pandemic. It was lockdown. People couldn't go to work. People couldn't go to school. There was nothing else to do other than game. And the best thing about it was your friends were also available. This applied to everyone around the world. If your hobby was gaming, this was arguably one of the best times of your life. Obviously, if you were affected by COVID and you lost family, of course, it's not going to be your best time. But putting that to the side, it would have been the best time. Look how much time you had. And recently, Call of Duty re-released Warzone 1, and everyone was up in arms. No, not up in arms, but they were positive about it. They really, really wanted this Warzone back. And it what I thought would happen actually did happen. Of course, it brought some people back, but check the numbers now. The numbers are dwindling again. It's because people think or thought that they actually missed Warzone 1, but no. What you miss was having nothing else to play but Warzone, and not having to worry about work the next day because, well, you can't go to work because it's COVID, or you can't go to school because it's COVID. And I feel like that was a clear example of why bringing back a game from 5 years ago isn't automatically going to make you feel as though you did 5 years ago, and that it's actually more to do with the circumstances around the game rather than the game itself. Of course, that's the time you enjoyed, but you have to accept that those conditions aren't there anymore. And we're not in a position where all we can do all day is game. You know, we're adults now. We have to focus on rent and other things. And I think that's okay. And it's something we just need to accept. Our childhood isn't coming back. But that's not something we have to be upset about. I think this is a good thing, you know. That's what life is moving forward. I know I used a gaming example, but I just thought it would make the most sense since we're all gamers here. Or if you're not, maybe you will become one. Um, but essentially, it can be used in any part of life. I think really the passage of time and just the fact that there's two things in life that are certain. You know, you will be born and you will die. And I think, of course, that's gonna be a scary thing. You know, that transition into adulthood has always been difficult. You know, there's mental health issues, there's addiction, there's so much negativity in this world, and it can be scary. And I think it's okay to be scared. Um, I just think it's important to kind of manage that as best you can, but try to not lose yourself in the past and essentially your brain lying to you about how great things always were, because unfortunately that's not how it always was in the past. And yeah, we have to move forward. This isn't me in any way saying never look back and don't enjoy reminiscing on the good old days. No, no, no. I think it's a good thing. I think I would just see it as a drug, maybe a bit drastic, but you know, in doses. You know, have a little bit of fun with it, talk to your friends about it, and you know, enjoy that moment. You think about the past time, but just balance it with living your current life and not moping around about what life is like now. Yeah, life is shit. We have to accept that, but there's some good sides to it, and I just don't want people passing it by because, oh, remember when COD 4 was out and you know everything was rosy and we didn't like. It's okay. It's okay to move on. Find a way to play it still. I'm still struggling with that, but regardless, just you know, move on and enjoy what life has to offer. But anyway, thank you guys for staying as long as you have. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.